was really, 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 really beautiful. And so, Queen Reese, tell us what that was. Queen Reese, tell us what that was. What was happening there when you were hearing all those names? What does that mean? Because that's something I think is missed. If you might just be hearing words, but there's
A narrative.
a narrative there. What's that narrative?
Well, whenever I hear Golden Crown, it's very special to me for two reasons. My father, his signature song was Shallow Water. But I loved Golden Crown because it was the bragging on himself. He didn't need everyone to say my big chief, because he would say, I'm the big chief with the golden crown. And then he would go and get into the song and say he had a diamond crown. So I loved the way he would twist that. Instead of the gang bragging on him, he was bragging on himself. And that's what the tradition is about, creating your best suit. And although my father always wanted us to be pretty, he always said, if you simply strive to be pretty, you're not a guardian of the flame. You have to say something. This is a narrative tradition. We tell stories. The songs tell stories. The suits tell stories. The dances tell stories. The signals tell stories. Everything is a choreographed story. And so when I hear that, I know that it's more than just I'm the prettiest. For me, it's much deeper than that. And it always brings me back to my father's life celebration at St. Augustine Church. It was such a surreal moment. Inside of the church, they were singing sacred hymns at his Mass of Christian Burial. And on the outside, you could hear them singing, Big Chief Donald's got his golden crown. And it's not a time I ever hear that song that I don't think of that moment. And the beauty of it is, I was fortunate enough to go to West Africa with Dr. Fanuel Egajuru on a Fulbright scholarship. And I heard funeral dirges. That's where this comes from. It's a different language, but you feel it in the marrow. I felt it in the marrow of my bones. This, for me, is a tradition where I'm able to stitch myself back to my ancestral homeland, one stitch, one bead at a time. And so it brings up all of that. It really does. It brings up all of that. People need to understand, as you say, we're telling stories. Well, not me, because I'm a woman, I got to stay in my lane. But I tell stories on my suit.
I don't endorse that mentality, just for the record. But why do you think this is still here? Why do you think everything that we're hearing now and seeing now has been able to survive, beginning with the horrors of slavery to the point of today where there's still different kinds of battles?
People needed freedom. This is a place that you can't enslave my brain. You can't enslave my spirit. You can't enslave that quest to be free. It's not an accident that the sacred song says we won't bow down. It is about the resistance. And everyone has to bring this tradition in the way that they want to bring it. For me, we are a maroon society. And I tell people all the time, I don't mask. I reveal. So on Carnival Day, when I step out, I bestow on you my nakedness, because I have taken what's inside of me and I manifested it in a pretty suit. For instance, when I masked as an homage to my great-great-grandfather Madison, who was taken and enslaved when he was 11 from Virginia, how can I mask as Madison's great-great-granddaughter? I am his great-great-granddaughter. So I am revealing that truth to you. So it is in my nakedness that I present the splendor of this tradition, where I'm fully covered with beads, feathers, and rhinestones. And at, 200 plus pounds, I'm going to be affirmed as being pretty. And that in itself is resistance. We defy, we reject Vogue, Western world standard of beauty. We tell you what's pretty. And when we do that, I always make the joke, men get dressed up in feathers, pearls, sequins, shiny stuff, and they dance up to each other in this warrior culture, and then they whisper in each other's ears. man, you pretty. You pretty.
Yeah.
But we set the standard, so it's a place to be self-actualized. It's a place to be free. When you're looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this puts people at the pinnacle, at the top of it, on their terms.
Mm-hmm.
You're free.
Yes. And for those of you just tuning in, I need to give you some context. For one thing, you're tuned in to WWOZ 90.7 FM in New Orleans. This is Feeling Good on the New Orleans Music Show. My name is George Ingmeyer. I am here with Sharice, as I know her, Queen Reesie, Harrison Nelson. We've been knowing each other for a long time, and I've had the honor to do some things including interview the oldest known living Mardi Gras Indian.
We're both anthropologists, so we know not to speak in absolutes.
Yes. Yes. And then also Big Chief Delka over here, the one that is just won't stop talking. How you doing? Yeah, how you doing?
I'm fine. The tradition of the Indians goes so far back that it's very important that culture be kept up to the day. That means a lot. And that culture is for us as New Orleans people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see this nowhere else unless you go to some. I always figured in the learnings as saying the people in the islands took it from us, because we were people from the islands, and it was taken. My family go back for the 1700s in the state of Louisiana, through the Haitians, which was Saint Domingue through slavery, and the French that was owned.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a name like my name, Dalcour, and it come from New York, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, our heritage is in these suits. That means a whole lot to us. They said, well, the Indians used to fight. Well, we were territorial. You were in my neighborhood. If you're in my neighborhood, that was a different thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why we were territorial.
I have to ask anyone who wants to highlight the violence, the so-called violence between Mardi Gras Indians, and say, who among us can't point to examples of violence within humanity? We have a person in charge now who threatens war with characters on the internet. So violence is not unique.
That's right.
Beauty, though,
is
unique. So that's the thing to embrace and recognize.
Exactly.
So don't highlight the stuff saying one group is more violent than another, because there is violence from the top to the bottom. How it's resolved is what we should look at.
And we have to especially stop that as African Americans, because we say that we're violent, and we almost give people a permission to approach us as potential violent individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And as Joe said, a lot of the times it's not the Indians, it's the people that follow. And if you went on Bourbon Street on Carnival Day, you'd probably see some inebriated individuals who would engage in an act of violence, and you wouldn't call them violent. You say, oh, that's boys.
Oh, you can do that tonight, actually.
You don't have to wait until Carnival.
No, you don't.
So, I like you said, and I'm sure Chief agrees, I like to highlight the way that this tradition brings people together across age groups, across skin tones. It doesn't matter how melanated you are, across economic, the whole range of economic, whatever. I don't know. I can't think of the word now. I'm like sleep deprived for the past 2 weeks. But it's a way to bring people together. I have a one-woman show, and I recently did the show in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I was invited to do the show there because we are an educating group, and we were invited back. Now, that city has some issues right now, but the reason why we were invited back is because the show appeals to people on just being human, rites of passage, celebrating life, the birth of a baby, rights of people passing on to the next life, becoming ancestors. As human beings, we all experience that. And so you have to find the threads that appeal to me, that connect us as human beings. My father always said, the first race we belong to is the human race. And I carry that in my soul. He never depicted violence on his suits because he said our people have been the victims of enough violence without us perpetuating violence between each other or violence against another fellow human being. But that has been part of the role of the Hall of Fame. And the other part I want to segue into is really the documentation. I'm so grateful to OZ for the calendar. As you know, we have done 10 publications, 10 books, 10 publications. And our My Kiss Goodbye, and it's a very sweet kiss, is a series of posters. And I'm presenting you with the roll call poster with all the groups who self-submitted, because we don't have any names. If you don't want to be on the roll, that's fine. I'm an existentialist, free will. But if you ever participated in something, well, your name may be on the roll because sometimes you submitted your name to us. I wasn't going through and scratching names off. So we have a roll for the Spy Boy, the Flag Boy, the Wild Man, the Queen, the Chief, and all the Crystal Feather honorees, plus the roll call with all the groups. And any Indian who comes to the breakfast on Friday, we have a breakfast Friday at our Shea Cultural Arts Center. It's the best event of the whole Hall of Fame week, because I don't have to do anything but show up in my splendid glory and walk through the door. The breakfast is prepared, the stage is set, everything is done. So it's the best event. So if there's an Indian out there and you don't have your role and you want one, these are truly limited editions. We have 60 of each position, and I think it's 125, I'm thinking that's right, of the roll call, but I'm sleep deprived. So you can get one. And then we have special friends of the Hall of Fame who will receive a poster. And George, you being a special friend, you are gifted a copy of the roll call
I'm
poster.
deeply honored, I have to say. That means a great deal to me. So, and I don't take any of this for granted. As I say, the city of New Orleans has both an open arm, but a lot of depth to it and secrets that you don't get to just because you're there. You have to earn the trust.
Right.
And show the respect. So this means a
and you
great
can't
deal to
buy
me.
that. You really cannot buy that.
No. All right. Well, we will go out with some music, but just one last thought is as we close the chapter of the Mardi Gras Indian Hall of Fame, what's just next? What, of course, it's not a matter of taking this place, but what continues?
Well, for me, it's going to be, and I'm going to talk about this because I think it's important that we talk about our personal challenges. And one of my personal challenges is what I call my episodes, which are depression episodes. I knew it was time to put a closure to sunset this in this form, because it's a full-time job. I'm basically a volunteer, and I'm approaching 60 next year, and we have to do self-care. I'm a cancer survivor, and my depression episodes were lasting 3 weeks at a time. But because I have high task commitment, and I'm able to recognize that because I'm an educator, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to leave you hanging ever. But I can't do it and then go into bed. That's all I'm doing. It's not good for my health. And as creative people, I need to create. The more I'm in a vacuum in my office doing, I love this. I love collecting the names. I love it. But I'm not taking care of myself. And I need to take care of me so that I can do some work that's doable and still gives me joy. And nothing has given me more joy than this for the past 20 years. This is an homage to my father's memory. I didn't think to do this, Dr. Smith did. It started at a public school, 800 children sitting on the yard. We had red paper carpet that we used for bulletin boards, and the children would sit on the perimeter of the carpet to keep it paper, it's carpet, to keep it from flying away. And one of my fondest memories from that first ceremony, and this is what this is about, was Chief Delco and Chief Victor. Now this is, of course, after my mom received a feather in my father's honor. They're stooped down, clapping their hands and getting the kindergarten babies to sing one of the Indian songs. That's history. That's the youth. That's our future. And there's no fourth wall. They're getting it from the source. From the source. They're getting history from the source. Living legacies. And my mother had a nursery school, and she always stooped down, and we had to talk to the children. You never had children look up to you. They didn't have that training from a school, but they had it in their hearts. And that's what this has been about. And I want that joy again.
That was 20 years ago. Made me feel like I was an old man.
Well, so that's what, and as I look forward to still going into the schools. We go during the holidays. We have a benefactor along with my mother, 2 benefactors, and we go into the schools and we present books to the children during the holiday. So 500 or 600 children get books every year. But it used to be 16 schools. Now we do 2.
Well, give yourself some time to enjoy yourself and your
Lots
time.
of mini vacations. So if there's anyone
Yeah.
who has an idea for a reasonable mini vacation, tell me about it, because
Yeah.
I plan to take one a month.
Thank you for what you've been doing, and your impact will continue.
And take care of
Kevin.
yourself, everybody.
Yes,
Find
right.
your joy and
Yes.
take care of yourself.
So we're going to go out, I guess, with some more live music.
Okay, well, Chief Delco and I will join him in the next room.
All right.
Okay.
It was lovely to meet you and to see you again. So,
Okay.
Thank
all
you.
right.
Glad to
Got
be
it.
here.
All right. WWOZ FM in New Orleans. We got some more Mardi Gras.
Don't believe her. She's going to have a feather in her head. I promise.
Shoot your best shot, man. Come take that shot. Give us a ringer. Give us a song. Give us something, bro. Come on. We got you. Whatever you doing, we behind you. Let's go. We're going to give it to Delco, y'all. All right. Let's go.
Here!
Whoa!
Here!
Whoa!
Early that morning when the sun come up,
Whoa!
I said it's gonna be a bunch of tribes gonna kick some butt.
Whoa!
They rode that river, they rode that sun.
Whoa!
I said every last one gonna carry that gun.
Whoa!
I heard Kuifayo, Iare, Iare. I heard Kuifayo, Iare, Iare. Oh, we are the angels, angels of the nation, the whole wide creation. Oh, we won't bow down,
Not on that ground,
on that crowded ground,
because I love to hear you call
my Indian race. Oh, Giacomo,
Come on, Jocko.
oh, that morning,
Ayo, ayo, ayo.
oh, that morning,
Ayo, ayo, ayo.
oh, yes, now.
Ayo, ayo, ayo.
Oh, we won't bow
Oh,
down,
we want banana
down on that ground,
on that dirty ground.
because I love
Love to hear you call.
my Indian race.
Oh, Jackie Mo
Pino, Hayo, Hayo,
Ayo, ayo, ayo. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Ayo, ayo. Oh, my Indian race. Oh, kill him dead. Because I love to hear you call my Indian race. Oh, Jackie Mo Pino, ayo. In the morning,
Hayo,
in
Hayo,
the evening.
Hayo, 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 Hayo,
Oh, my Indian race.
my Indian race.
I kill him dead. I kill him dead. Because I love to hear you call my Indian race.
Oh, in that boy, take the back away, all in the morning.
Hey, Backy way.
Jumping and hollering,
Hey, Backy way.
all the way uptown.
Hey, Backy way.
Big fire Tim,
Backy way.
running on the ocean.
Hey, Backy way.
Jumping and hollering,
Hey, Backy way.
hola my Indian,
Hey, Backy way.
hola my Indian.
Hey, Backy way.
Holy Macana,
Backy way.
holy Macana,
Hey, Backy way.
hola my Indian.
Hey, Backy way.
Hola
Hey,
Macana,
Backy way.
holy my
Hey,
Indian.
Backy way.
Hey,
Hey, Backy way. Backy way.
Hey, Paco,
Hey, Backy way.
Hey, Paco,
back away. Bum bum no re. Back tell him nobody go re. Back tell him bum liar. I'ma set him on fire. On a Mardi Gras morning. Tell him trying to make a hoomba. Tell him get it make a hoomba. Get ball got ready. Get ball got ready. Oh Mardi Gras come out. Back away. Back away. Better be ready. Back away. Back away. Shoot the fire. Back away. Back away. Early in the morning. Back away. All the way. Back away that morning. Back away that evening. Don't nobody worry. Don't nobody buy. Don't nobody know how. Hey, hooray! They we the black India. We got Indian religion. Hooray! Hooray! Say we the black India. We got Indian religion. Don't nobody. Come on, G. Hey, back come on. Hey, back away. Back away. Back away. Back away. Back away. Back away.
Going back home now.
Back away.
Going back home now.
Back to the bridge, y'all. Back away.
Jump in the house.
Back away. Look at the two. Back
Oh,
away.
Harry, why he not?
Back away. Big queen. Back away.
Let the morning.
Back away. Come on. Back away. Come on. It's just holiday. It's just holiday. Of a nation. Got a big reputation. Got 'em all walk a wire. I'm as a Goliath. Get the world on fire. Tell 'em I am a big G. Tell 'em I am a big G. I'm G territory. Tell 'em I don't worry. My Jeep of a bayou. I'm Jeep of a bayou. I'm as a Goliath. Two-way, fucking ready. Two-way, fucking ready. Did it Mardi Gras morning. Did it Mardi Gras morning. We'll do what we wanna. On a Mardi Gras morning. On a Mardi Gras morning. Got a whole time, big queen. Got a whole time, big chief. Damn chief in the middle. I drop like a wire. Get the world on fire. Y'all go. This ain't your number now.
Going back home.
Your number.
Going back home.
This your number now.
Going back home.
Stand everybody.
Going back home.
Stand from the nation.
Going back home.
Get it wild, wild creation.
Going back home.
Stand on a corner. Do what we wanna.
Going back home.
Mardi Gras morning.
Going back
Oh, we
home.
going back home now.
Going back
Oh,
home.
we going back home now.
Going back home.
Where we belong now.
Going back home.
We by fire.
Going back
Oh,
home.
we drink by your water.
Going back
Oh,
home.
we call them in order.
Going back
I
home.
call my daughter.
Going back home.
I call my daughter.
Going back home.
Tell him Indians coming.
Going back
Tell
home.
him Indians coming.
Going back home.
Indians from my nation. Got a big reputation. Indians on the corner. We gonna do like we wanna. On a Mardi Gras morning. They shall make a hoomba. Make it make a hoomba. And he write my mama now. Write my mama now. Hey, mama, I'm ready. And I gotta get out. And all they hit what up. Two-way.
Counterfeit.
Yeah.
The only way to follow this is to hear a little bit of Donald Harrison Sr.
And as I was telling Jonathan before we went to air, I found his album on the download service last Thursday night while I was getting ready for this week, and punched into the first song and was amazed. And Jonathan, in this kind of private show for you guys. So introduce yourself, guys, and let's make some music.
I'm Jonathan Long.
I'm Samantha Fish.
This is a first cut that we did on the record called "Bury Me." This is a stripped down acoustic version. So. Peaceful man, but I can't take the devil's hand. Spreading hate throughout the land, I think it's time to take a stand. All that I know how to do is take a pen, a sheet of paper or two, write a few words about peace and love, Louisiana and the heavens above. Bury me when I am gone with my guitar and some cheap cologne. All that's left is a pile of bones. Remember me through the words of my songs. Bury me when I am gone with my guitar and some cheap cologne. All that's left is a pile of bones. Remember me through the words of my songs. Heaven knows it's about that time. You have your God and I have mine. Better stretch our hands to the heavens. Stop counting our money, start counting our blessings. All that I know how to do is take the guitar and shoot a little tune. All I buy is cheap cologne. I wear the good stuff when I am gone. Bury me when I am gone with my guitar and some cheap cologne. All that's left is a pile of bones. Remember me through the words of my song. Bury me when I am gone with my guitar and some cheap cologne. All that's left is a pile of bones. Remember me through the words of my song. All right.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
See, I told you, folks, wasn't what you expected.
It's a little different.
Can I blame that on the lady sitting next to you?
Yeah. Yeah. You can blame anything on her.
Well, I think it's well-deserved credit for the lady sitting next to you.
Yes, it is.
It was really great to be a part of it. He brought all those awesome songs into the studio, you know.
Well, I got to tell you, it's amazing stuff for me. And for those of you that are sitting home for your private concert, you can also watch this on either our web page or on the Facebook page, because it's going out live on the video stream as well. So if you're enjoying the music, now you can see how great they look too.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Well, you guys have an event tomorrow night.
We do. We're playing at Tipitina's tomorrow night. That's Thursday the 9th. And I believe doors are at 8. Delta Revelry will be opening for us. And we're looking forward to the show. It's going to be a great time. We always enjoy playing Tipitina's, and it's a New Orleans staple. And it's a blessing to be able to play there and to be a part of a show. So
Absolutely. Great venue, great place.
definitely.
And going to be filled with great music.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening, when the live performance is over, I do have some tickets to give away. So
Oh, nice.
so stay tuned for that. Bedlam. All right, let's do one more song right here on WWOZ.
All right. Yeah, let's do the river. We're going to do this song, The River, here that we do. I've been thinking you've been running around for far too long. Keep on sinking. One more night and then you're gone. Night winds shaking
this old house to the very core.
my heart is breaking.
Trying hard to find a door. Oh, baby,
It may be late, too late to ever know. So sad today, watching the river flow. It may be late, too late to ever know. So sad today, yeah, watching the river
Thank you all. Wow. Okay, now you got to give me all the background. How did this come together, and where did it all happen?
We start with Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben. Our
Oh, it's
manager,
Ruben's fault.
Our
Okay.
manager, Ruben Williams, obviously manages both of us, and
Yeah.
he just thought that this would be the perfect pairing, and I needed help producing the record, and then he said, well, we'd love for Samantha to start a label, so we just kind of did the both of them together, and just it was magic that was meant to happen. It just ended up happening perfectly. It couldn't have came out any better, and we couldn't be more happy with the product and just the way that everything works together, you know. So
Couldn't be a better first signing for the new label, and I'm really was just proud to work with Jonathan. The songs are great. The record, I mean, he came in, knocked it out. I'm just an honor. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Well, cool. So when all things fit together perfectly, and the yin and the yang, and it happens, it's great.
that's right.
So wonderful. All right, I do need to tell them they're listening to WWOZ FM in New Orleans, or the FCC will come over here and wrap our knuckles.
I understand.
So let's do one more live, and then we'll revamp, and we'll get out with one from the new album.
Yeah, sure. All right, these are all from the new album, stripped down acoustically, and then you'll hear a song from the new album at the end. But this is called "Pour Another Drink." This is kind of like a New Orleans style tune that I wanted to do. So. Porter bartender, I'll have another round. There'll be some drinking long as I'm around. See, I've had a long day and I've had a rough night. A few more shots would do me just right. A woman left me and my dog done died. I got more blues than Jekyll and Hyde. Cars in the parking lot, you can have the keys if you just pour up a few whiskey. Oh, this blues has got me so down. I could hardly keep my head from hitting the ground. Oh, well, it might be the whiskey and it might be the beer. There's no telling what keeps me here, but I'm here. So pour another drink for me. Porter, bartender, I'll have another beer. Give one to my friend right here. Look like he's had a pretty rough time. He's told me he got it in World War II. Yeah, I believe him and so should you. He seemed like a pretty nice fella. Drank his beer out of a glass with a plastic umbrella. Oh, this blues has got me so down. I could hardly keep my head from hitting. Well, and here, but I'm here. So pour another drink for me. Hey, Samantha. Oh, this blues has got me so down. I could hardly keep my head from hitting the ground. Ah! Well, it might be the whiskey and it might be the beer. Said I'm here for another drink for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of a interesting, different kind of tune, you know.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, I compliment the two of you on what I think is a phenomenal album,
Thank you.
and
Dennis.
look forward to playing a whole lot of it on this show and hearing it on others. So thanks so much, Tipitinas.
That's it.
And you said doors were 8?
I think they're at 8. Yeah.
Yeah, doors are at 8. I think the first band starts at 9.
9. Yeah.
9,
So
okay.
doors at 8. Delta Revelry at 9, and then I'll come up and play some, and then we'll bring Samantha up and have a great time. So
It's fabulous.
looking
And
forward to it.
I do have some tickets to give away, and folks have already been calling, but sorry, the rules are you have to wait till their music starts to call, so you don't count. And we're going to do it after your song. So we're going to let them listen to This Road from the album in full, and when the before the second song starts, I'll come back in and make the formal announcement for the ticket giveaway. Thanks again so very much for coming down and sharing your music with us. It's fabulous.
Thank y'all. Thank you for having us, everybody. Thank y'all.